This week's top stories include retailers' response to rising commodity prices, how the U.S. China tariffs could be bad for the EU, and how low unemployment in the U.S. is leaving manufacturers with a labor shortage. First up, the past few years have seen increases in commodity prices across the globe, with materials like wool and cotton hitting record high prices. Even the price of oil, used to make fabrics like polyester and rayon, is up 50% from last year. The typical trend of apparel industries, when a certain material gets too expensive, is to switch to an alternative substitute. When cotton prices rose in 2011, many brands started selling rayon and synthetic fabrics. But that tactic won't work this time, as price increases in all materials mean there's no cheaper option. Retailers are now finding themselves faced with a difficult choice: either raise prices and lose customers, or maintain prices and lose profit. Textile manufacturers are facing the same pressures, and in China, they've even started using government stockpiles of cotton. The rising fast fashion trends that have consumers changing wardrobes every few weeks is starting to put a toll on global commodity supplies. Next up, the European Union, with an economy heavily dependent on trade, is also likely to see negative impacts of the U.S. China trade war. As the two leading countries in manufacturing, any disruption to the flow of goods between China and the U.S. could influence global business. The German car company BMW exported $2.37 billion worth of vehicles to China last year from the U.S. With the new tariffs, that flow of cars will likely see cutbacks. In Germany, business confidence has fallen in 6 of the past 7 months. Exports comprise nearly half of Germany's annual economic output. They now fear a worst-case scenario of a complete trade ban, leaving any company that manufactures in China or the U.S. unable to export to the other market. EU growth this year was the strongest it has been in decades. Unemployment was the lowest it's been since the 2008 financial crisis. Who knows how the new tariffs will affect these numbers? Finally, low unemployment leaves U.S. manufacturers with a labor shortage. The U.S. unemployment rate is lower than it's been in decades, but that fact is leaving many manufacturing companies with a lack of skilled labor. A bottle packaging company in Wisconsin had such a hard time finding workers that they resorted to increasing wages by 25%. But with competitors offering even higher wages, this manufacturer had no choice but to turn to automation. The tricky situation with low unemployment is that companies start to increase wages, and if those increases get out of hand, it could lead to severe inflation. Low unemployment sounds good on the front page of a newspaper, but for many manufacturers, it only provides more stress. Those are just the top 3 stories from this week. To read the other 2, follow the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week on Best in Manufacturing.